Hi, class. I hope everybody has had a great week. I hope that everybody is safe and healthy. So at this point, we're moving into the second kind of task list on that schedule that's in course documents. So hopefully at this point you have already read chapter 13. If you have not, please, please, please get that chapter read. Um, the activities 1 and 2 from chapter 13 are not actually going to be due till the end of this upcoming week. But I'm asking that you actually get activities 1 through 3 from this chapter done at that point. So if you have not yet started on that work, please get started on it. And certainly if you have questions, be sure to post those online in that question forum that we have under the discussions tab, so that I can answer them, and then everybody else will be able to see that, and we can help each other out with all of that. Otherwise, hopefully you've got the definition essays are getting finished, and you get that emailed to me. That's the other, I guess, announcement I'd like to make, is that at this point, so I know all over at Blackboard it says to submit your work through Blackboard. Unfortunately, I don't think I have set things up properly. So I'm asking for everybody to just plan on emailing me your work. So as you complete whether it's the quiz, whether it's essay rewrites, whether it's any of that chapter 3 or 13 work, please plan to just email all of that to me. So the next big topic I wanted to talk about was this next activity that I'm asking you to start working on in chapter 13. So far we have talked a little bit about some of these differences between a paragraph essay and a multi-paragraph essay. We talked a little bit about thesis statements. So a thesis statement is basically, you could think of it like a topic sentence, but for the entire essay. It's going to be the last sentence of an introduction. And it's basically going to state your topic, what you want to say about the topic, and then that plan of development. And that's just those 3 main ideas, letting readers know what is going to be following. And that lets them know that, hey, they're going to read a paragraph about each of these main ideas. So then we talked a little bit about introductions. And remember, introductions are a tricky paragraph to write. The real key with them is that you want to really hold off on any of the good details that belong in your essay. So, for example, with the corner store, we read a model essay there where the author had taken that original paragraph essay that we looked at and had expanded it into 5 paragraphs. So instead, each of the main 3 ideas have now become their own paragraph in that expanded version. And then in the introduction, the author actually does not talk about the corner store job. The author instead gets us thinking about jobs. So talks about all these different jobs they've had. By the way, that model essay about the corner store, if you want to take a look at it so you know what I'm talking about here, is on page, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it here, on pages 156 through 158. So if you want to take a look at that, this is a great example, by the way, of what I'm asking you to be working on. This is what you're aiming for. So this would be an example of an A paper here. But in the introduction, the author talks about other jobs, talks about the babysitting job, talks about the newspaper route, talks about the office temping. And talks about how these jobs were positive, but they had some drawbacks. And this is a nice way to build up to talking about the job at the corner store, where it doesn't really have those drawbacks. It actually is just a really good job. So by talking about other jobs, that gets us thinking about jobs in general and things we like about jobs, things maybe we don't like, and that leads nicely into talking about the corner store job. So then, after you did some practice writing thesis statements, I had you do some practice writing introductions. So you wrote an introduction for each of those. You basically looked at those paragraph essays that were on pages 167, 168, 169, I believe. Yeah, something like that. Or actually a few more pages than that. But anyway, in that page range, and you were looking at paragraph-long essays, and then you were thinking about what you might do if you were to expand one of those into a multi-paragraph essay. And here I was asking you to write an introduction. So you did 3 practice introductions. So for that paragraph about transportation, that opened with the topic sentence, I prefer to drive long distances over other modes of transportation for many reasons. So you wrote an introduction, imagining what an introduction might look like if you were to expand this into a multi-paragraph essay. You wrote then an introduction for this potential, this paragraph essay if you were about the First Third call center representative job. I really dislike working as a First Third bank call center representative. So you thought about that paragraph and how that might expand into a 5-paragraph essay, and then what might work for an introduction. And the same with paragraph 3, with essay 3 about going to the haunted house and how it was scary. So again, as you're writing these introductions, which I realize aren't due till next week, so you probably are still working on these, but just remember, with each of them, you do not want to get into what the essay is about. So with transportation, you might open with a paragraph introducing it by talking about other forms of transportation. Maybe opening with opposite ideas, talking about why some people prefer taking a plane or a bus or a train. And then leading that into, well, hey, but I really prefer to drive. And you might think about different methods you might introduce. This one about the job, about disliking the call center position. You might open by talking about jobs that are really great. And what's going to be tricky writing these is you've got to kind of pretend. Now, you didn't write these original essays, so you're going to have to kind of put yourself in the shoes of the author and imagine what, so even if you've never worked at a call center, you want to just kind of imagine what that might be like, and then imagine what other jobs perhaps that person would have, and maybe talk about jobs that they really liked, how they really liked doing this, and they liked doing that. And then, but however, the current job I have at First Third Bank, I really dislike. So writing an introduction that kind of leads up to that. And then the same thing with the haunted house, where you're thinking about that introduction. You don't want to actually talk about this experience at the haunted house. You want to save that for the body paragraphs. So you want to think about, well, what might you talk about? Maybe an introduction could really look at talking about how you generally really like Halloween. You really like scary things. You enjoy, that kind of stuff. But this particular experience was just really negative and you really didn't like it. I found opening with an opposite idea is often a nice way to introduce a topic. And you can read a little more about that in that section about introductions in this same chapter here. So what I want you to do then for activity 13-2 is you're going to be taking one of these introductions you've written, and you can choose which one you like, so whichever one through 3, you're going to choose one of them, and I want you to finish the essay. I want you to write a full 5-paragraph essay that's going to open with that introduction that you already wrote. So basically, you're writing the additional 4 paragraphs that would complete it. Now, remember, as you're writing this is going to be a little tricky because these original paragraphs you didn't write. These weren't your experiences. So as you're expanding the ideas, you might have to improvise a little, add some of your own thoughts. However, please do stay true to the essay that's there. What you ultimately write should be kind of like how the corner store, when we look at that 5-paragraph version of it, and you notice that it's really the same essay as the paragraph version that's back on, I think, page 9. You're doing the exact same thing here. What you write as a 5-paragraph essay should be very similar to these paragraph essays that you're looking at. So you're picking one and then you're expanding it. And of course, when you're writing those body paragraphs, really all you're doing is, you've already jotted down what were the 3 main ideas. Now you're picking one of those. You're going to be writing one full paragraph about each of those main ideas. So now those main ideas are going to become their own topic sentences. Make sure you use transitions, and really be thinking about all the different things that you've read about in this chapter, and definitely use the corner store as a model. It's a really nice example of what I'm wanting to see in this assignment. So this is practice, so it's certainly it doesn't really have to be perfect, but I do want you to really take your time, because this is going to be good practice for our final 2 essay assignments that we're going to be working on. So that's pretty much all I have for this week. You're working on rewriting essays we've been doing all semester. You're working on finishing those first 2 activities from Chapter 13, finishing reading Chapter 13. And then you're going to be working on taking one of those practice introductions and making a practice 5-paragraph essay for Activity 13-3. So everybody have a wonderful evening. Stay healthy, stay safe. And until next time, oh, and hopefully I'll get to see and talk to you guys on Friday. Remember, our open live chat will be from 11 to 1 here on Tools through Collaborate Ultra on Blackboard. And I would love to see your faces and get to talk to you. So as many of you who can be there would be wonderful. And please make sure that you do ask questions, and feel free to email me anytime, anything you need help with, all right? Have a wonderful night, and take care, everybody. Thanks.